Hello everyone, you are just joining in our literary heaven, the Literary Nook by Fairy. Let's start our today's topic, but before going further, don't forget to subscribe the channel, like the videos and share. Now let's jump into our today's topic that is none other than literature and the writer's personality. Every work of literature is intimately connected with the personality of the author who produces it. There is always a man behind a book, and the judging of the quality of the literature becomes vital to us if we try to think of the author not as a mysterious, disembodied force, but rather as a man who wrote to satisfy needs and to resolve difficulties which are common to us. Literature doesn't grow by a spontaneous composition. It is the product of men and women who wrote it out of their lives. They were real persons of flesh or blood who loved and worked and organized as men have done in all ages, expressing the view that every book is a reflection of the personality of the author. Matthew Arnold wrote, "What is really precious and inspiring in all that we get from literature, except the sense of the immediate contact with genius itself? Object could never be described except for the purpose of describing the feeling which they arouse in us, for language ought to represent at the same moment the thing and the author, the subject and the thought. Everything that we say ought to be dyed with us. This process is a long one, but it immortalizes us, for language is formed to convey not the object alone, but likewise the character, mood, intentions of the person who is representing it." So, Goethe has also expressed at many places in his writing the danger of forsaking the inner light, of relying on someone external, something which is not the language of the heart's experiences, the danger or rather the impossibility of serving expression from personality. Thus, he remarked, "The style of a writer is a true impression of his inner self. If anyone could write a clear style, let him first have clearness in his soul. And if anyone would write a great style, let him see to it that he has a great character." And again, it is the personal character of the writer that brings his meaning before his readers, not the artifices of the talent. So, in another passage, he says, "The artist must work from within outwards. He can only bring light to his own individuality. Only in this way it is possibility to be original." Expressing the same view that in every great work of literature there must be fidelity to the personal vision of the artist, Pater wrote in the essay on style, "Truth, there can be no merit, no craft at all without that, and further all beauty in the long run only fineness of truth, and what we call expression, the finer accommodation of truth to that vision within." And again, to give the phrase, the sentence, the structural member, the entire composition, song, essay, or similar unit with the subject and with itself. Style is the right way when it turns towards that. All depends on the original unity, the vital wholeness, identity, and of the intentionary apprehension of view. What Matthew Arnold, Goethe, Pater have expressed may be called the personal or the subjective view of literature, which lays emphasis on the personal factors in all literature. But there are some critics who hold the opposite view, the impersonal or objective view about the literature. The personality of the author should have nothing to do with his writings. The author who likes Shakespeare expresses the personality of others is greater than the one like Byron, who projects his own personality in his writings. Flaubert, the great champion of this view, wrote in one of his letters, "There are two kinds of poets, the greatest, the rare ones, the true masters." Sums up humanity. They are not preoccupied with themselves and their own passions. They put their own personality in the background in order to absorb themselves into the personality of the others. They produce the universe which is reflected in their works with all its glitter and variety and multiplicity. There are others who have only to create, and they achieve harmony, to weep, and to move us, to think about themselves, and they are immortal. Possibly, if they were to do anything else, they might not go quite so far. But while they lack breadth, they have ardor and dash. In short, If they had been born with a different temperament, probably they wouldn't have had genius at all. Baron was of this family, Shakespeare of other. Who can tell me what Shakespeare loved, betrayed, or felt? So there is no doubt that Shakespeare hides his personality in his plays, but what about his sonnets, which are by universal admission among the most intimate of the personal utterances? If we look at this problem of the relation of the personality of the author to his work, we come to the conclusion that ultimately they must bear the impress of his personality in some form or the other. Though Milton wrote Paradise Lost with the purpose of subduing to the strict form of epic all things in heaven and earth and hell, he couldn't rule out his own personality out of it. In fact, it becomes a reflection of his own personality. We find in this great poem Milton as man, Milton as archangel, Milton as God, but the most characteristic voice of all is that of the Milton as Satan, truly a double personality. A mind not to be changed by place or time. The mind is its own place and in itself can make a heaven of hell and a hell of heaven. That was all for today. Stay connected for more literary videos. Me, Fairy, signing out from the Literary Nook by Fairy.